when Lubec was settled, it was in North Lubec, just a farm country up here, house here and there. And back at the time, and that was all woods, forest and woods down on the point right down there.
That was all woods?
All woods.
Oh my God.
In fact, up on the hill where the churches are now, that was there was some houses part way up, and there was, and it was all forest, and someone was playing there, and they looked, and there was a bear up on the hill. So that's...
So this is the old town, parts of...
No, this was North Lubec, and no, this was there was a sardine factory right down in back here. It was the North Lubec Manufacturing Canning Company,
Gotcha.
Owned by Lawrence Brothers, who owned built these two beautiful homes here. And that store, that was their store. They had offices upstairs, and they had a department store, and the post office was in that building. But, this was in later years. But of course, most of their business, when the early settlers came, everything was by boat. So they went to Eastport, to do their shopping and things like that.
Was it always Lubec, or was it part of Eastport at one time?
No, well, this was Eastport originally. Lubec was Eastport, part of Eastport, until 1811, and then there was more settlers up here, and it was kind of inconvenient, everything going by boat. Everyone had the boat. No roads. Just pass.
Pass,
something like that.
Wow. Now, wasn't Maine part of Massachusetts at one time?
Yeah, this whole area here included, this is North Lubec up here, included, and Lubec where the village, South Lubec and West Lubec and out farther. It was called Plantation 8, District of Maine, State of Massachusetts. So this was all the state of Massachusetts, too.
The name, I've always thought that Lubec was a French name. Is it a French name?
No, it's German. It was named for Lubec, Lubec, Germany.
Okay.
A man named it. He'd read about Lubec, Germany, and it was a port town on the North Sea, and somehow or other it kind of took his fancy, so he suggested we name it Lubec.
Interesting.
So it did have a Lubec, a K on the end of it originally, but so it's a German name for Lubec, Germany.
Now, what did your husband do? What did he do out here?
He did most anything he could.
Yes.
But mostly people either worked in the factories, and he did odd carpenter works, and he worked. Now winters, when he was younger, he'd work in the lumber camps, cutting pulp in the lumber camps for many winters.
But the sardine factories were very big back then, right?
Yeah, but then at that time, the sardine factories, it was seasonal work. The law said that you could only have the sardine factories from April the 15th until the last day of November. So there was no work in the sardine factories in the winter. So then men, like Mac and different ones, they'd either work in lumber camps and then there was in the winter there was a smoked herring industry. And a lot of people would work in smoked herring. You could do that in the winter.
What happened to the sardine factories? How come they don't have them anymore?
Well, I guess times changed, people grew up, because then that was the only thing to do around here. And there was no transportation.
Were they canned?
Huh?
Were the sardines canned? Is that how you ate? Is that how they processed them?
Well, in fact, a lady interviewed me a while ago. I know about the sardine industry, and I said they used to call us herring chokers.
Herring chokers?
That was the nickname the sardine the women had, because it was the way they processed the sardines. Years ago, they were pre-cooked. They were put on what we call flakes, on flat wire things, and put in what we call racks, slid in, and they were put in steam boxes and steam cooked. And then after they were steam cooked, they were taken to a dryer to dry the excess moisture off, and then they were brought to the packers to put in the cans. Well, where they were steam cooked, the fish were soft, and the smaller fish, you didn't have to have scissors to cut them. The smaller fish, anywhere from 5, 6, 8 or smaller fish, you didn't have to cut them. You could take your thumb and forefinger and pinch the heads off. Oh, we were choking them. So that's how we got the nickname herring chokers. And then,
great.
of course, in later years, in the late, I guess, 1950s, that's when they changed the process and started packing them raw, coming right in and packing them. And then we had to have very sharp scissors to cut the heads and tails off. And we also had to bandage our fingers well, because we could miss the fish and cut a finger.
Absolutely.
So with the ounce of prevention, wrapping our fingers up.
Yes.
But over the years, of course, things changed, and transportation, and the young people growing up, they started going out of town, and even in the summer there were more things for them to do and places for them to go. So gradually they couldn't find the employees, enough to pack and to maintain the sardine factory. So.
And would you come? Was there a lot to do? Was there more to do when you were younger here in Lubec?
Oh, we had theaters and a dance.
You had a theater?
Oh yes, we had theaters and we had dance halls, and that was great when I was growing up. Oh, and I loved to dance.
Is that how you met your husband?
No, that was.
How'd you meet him?
Well, he was an awful. I'd been married before.
Okay.
And of course we'd known each other all our life, but we never just got together. But then, and he was a 42-year-old bachelor, and I tell everyone my irresistible charm got the best of it, so we finally got married. We got married.
How old were you?
Well, I was 39 at that
okay.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah.
Do you have children?
No children.
Okay.
No children. But he died 22 years ago. I've been a widow for 22 years.
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's a long time.
Yeah.
Wow.
But and to come in town on a Saturday night, there was down on the main street, Water Street. Look, there was all these stores, all the family stores. There was department stores. There was drug stores, and everyone could go to town on Saturday night. You'd find a parking place, and you'd sit there all evening because everyone would be walking up and down the street. You'd visit with people.
That's terrific. So how many more people would you say lived here then?
I think the population hasn't fluctuated too much.
Oh, it hasn't? Okay.
Because they come and go.
Now, were there more people from away? I mean, I know there's a lot of people from away who live here now.
No, it was all mostly natives.
Mostly
then.
natives,
It's
yeah.
now just since the sardine factories have gone, and there are more people, retirees coming in now.
Yeah.
Because down, say, Bar Harbor, down in southern Maine and Bar Harbor, Southwest Harbor, that's getting overcrowded, with retirees and summer people, as we say. So they finally discovered this neck of the woods down here. And they come down and they like it, so they move in.
So now talk to us about some of this
was
history.
One of the family, an old family house. And now it's a bed and breakfast. And this is the Christian Temple Church. The denomination is Christian Church Disciples of Christ. That's the one I attend.
Okay.
And this one over here is the Congregational Church. We always call that the big church because it's higher and you can see that steeple. And it was down somewhere in back of that years ago. Well, the bear, where we come in, there was bear roaming around. And this is Main Street and some of the...
Oh yeah, this
some
is
of the
pretty.
nice
This is such
houses.
a pretty street.
Yeah, it is. This is
gosh.
nice.
Beautiful
And this is
home.
an old home here that now owned by Davis Pike owns it now, but his family have owned it for years. And,
Yeah, right, yep.
And some of these on the...
It's a very pretty place here.
Yeah, this is the nicest street in town now. And then the little side street here. There used to be an old house in here.
Yeah.
Another side street. And this is an old house here. And the white building next to it is the Masonic Hall. This one right here.
The Masons, huh?
Yeah, it's the Masonic Hall there, Masonic Hall. And we had Eastern Star. I'm past matron of the Order of the Eastern Star.
Oh,
but
what is that?
Huh?
What does that mean when you're an Eastern Star? What does
The
that
Eastern
mean?
Star is the ladies' equivalent, but men can join, of the Masons. The Masons do an awful lot, so much, and the Shriners.
They do?
Oh, yes.
They help people and
they help
kids and...
The crippled children. There's the Shriners hospitals and everything like
Should
that.
I drive through here for a second?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Because this
You want to talk about this what this was like down here, this area, this parking lot?
This is a marina here.
Yeah.
Excuse me. This is the boat ramp, where if you want to put a boat in the water, you've got a boat ramp over there. Right. Over here that goes down.
Now you have a marina.
And the
apparently.
marina was over there.
Okay.
But they had problems with it, and now I guess it's
Eastport might take it over.
now, and Eastport, they're going to move it to Eastport. Now this was the town wharf that was built a number of years ago, and then they had the marina here. You know, with all the slips.
Oh, they were right here, huh?
The marina was right in here.
Okay.
But it seems as though, I don't know any of the technicalities of it, but they had things they called attenuators, because you get a northwest wind, and we have very strong tides here. And with the northwest winds and the winter storms, that was a bad location. And these attenuators that were supposed to help control the tides in these bad storms, they broke. You know, they'd keep breaking, have to be repaired, and money spent on them and everything. So finally, I guess it was got to be too expensive.
Now, what about that island out there? Is that part of Lubec? Or are most of these islands associated?
This first one,
yeah,
the one over, there's always been controversy whether Lubec or Eastport owns it. So it may be Eastport. But that island, that's called Treats Island now. But years ago, it was well populated. There was houses, and way back in the 1860s, this Colonel John Allen, he was one of the prominent early settlers. He had store on there. There was houses, and in fact, he's buried there, Colonel John Allen. He was born in Edinburgh Castle, Scotland, and he's buried off there on Treats Island.
Now, what is it like? Can you go over to Treats Island anytime?
Yeah, you can. You know, if you have a boat. You
gotta get
people go out.
No one has a house over there anymore?
No. And in fact, it's all growing up to woods. And this was one of the last factories that packed fish. Right? Yeah.
What are they doing with it now?
Well, someone says they have tanks in there and have lobsters in tanks that you could buy lobster. I haven't tried it. But that was always called Booth Fisheries. Changed hands 2 or 3 times and had different names. But they were the last ones to pack fish. And that was in 2001, I think, that they packed the last fish in Lubec.